Hare Krishna, welcome to Srimad Bhagavad Gita class. So today we are reading from chapter 12, verse 10. Abhyase asya martho api matkarmarmo Abhyase yasya samarthosi Matkarm paramo bhava Madartham api karmani Kurvan siddhim avapsyasi. Translation: If you cannot practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. One who is not able even to practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga under the guidance of spiritual master can still be drawn to the perfectional stage by working for the Supreme Lord. How to do this work has already been explained in the 55th verse of 11th chapter. One should be sympathetic to the propagation of Krishna consciousness. There are many devotees who are engaged in the propagation of Krishna consciousness and they require help. So, even if one cannot directly practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, he can try to help such work. Every endeavor requires land, capital, organization, and labor. Just as in business, one requires a place to stay, some capital to use, some labor, and some organization to expand. So the same is required in the service of Krishna. The only difference is that in materialism one works for sense gratification. The same work, however, can be performed for the satisfaction of Krishna, and that is spiritual activity. If one has sufficient money, he can help the building an office or temple for the propagating of Krishna consciousness, or he can help with publications. There are various fields of activity and one should be interested in such activities. If one cannot sacrifice the result of his activities, the same person can still sacrifice some percentage to propagate Krishna consciousness. This voluntary service to the cause of Krishna consciousness will help one to rise to a higher state of love for God, whereupon one becomes perfect. Om Jnanam Timirandasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagan Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Savadetam Savadutan Parijan Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Rupam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagan Lalita Shri Shakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishbhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gatadhar Shri Vasadhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today's verse is about, even if one is not able to do this, there is one more way to reach to Krishna, and by that way you can get the perfect stage. So, it's been explained here by Srila Prabhupada, one who is not able to practice the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. So, what is Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is done for the purification of senses. Why we all are following the path of Bhakti Yoga? First question. We are doing Bhakti Yoga process so that the senses which are polluted will get purified. All same senses, all karmendriya, gyanendriya can be directed toward the service of Krishna. That we learn through Bhakti Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga is very important for the purification of senses. And senses gets direction how to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather than just getting inward, they become outward for the service of the Lord. Inward means only serving self and only making self happy. So the bodily conception of life gets smaller and smaller, and the higher perspective become bigger to achieve through Bhakti Yoga. Here there are regulative principles we all follow as devotees. The 4 regulative principles are very much known to all of us. What are they? No meat eating, including onion, garlic. No gambling. No intoxication, including tea, coffee. And no illicit sex. These are the basic regulative principles which are to be followed by all Bhakti Yoga aspirants, or those who are walking onto the path of devotional life should follow all these. But those who are not able to come up to this point can also serve Krishna. Krishna has given opportunity to each and every one so that they can connect with the Lord somehow or the other. So here so many examples are given by Srila Prabhupada, like if you have got good amount of money, Srila Prabhupada always appreciated people who wanted to donate. He never said no to meet anybody who is a very big in a money or a big shot or a political person. As a sannyasi, he never said no, because the only one reason was that he always wanted everybody to get into Krishna consciousness directly or indirectly. If you are having a political influence, you can help building temples. If you have got good amount of money, you can help in building temples, in our prachar, preaching, book publication, so everything. It's been very beautifully explained here that nothing can move that easily in this material world without money, capital, land and labor. All these things need to be channelized the way it will give a fruitive result to the community. For that, if somebody got a lot money, they can always help support devotees temple. This is their service which is indirect, but that indirect will lead to direct them toward Krishna, and slowly but surely they will come up to the level where they will become perfect. It's not I am saying, it's been said by Krishna himself, that you will come to me, you will come to the perfect stage, because to meet Krishna we have to become perfect, and for that we do Bhakti Yoga, we follow regulative principle. But for those who are not able to get it done the way it is been prescribed, they can do some portion of their earning, they can donate. Those who are not got that much of money, they can give their endeavors. How they can give their endeavors? They can come to the temple, can help in this service or that service. There's so many services. These are the things. That is how this ISKCON has given each and every individual an opportunity. It's not just for those who wanted to do direct service, but for those who wanted to do indirect. Slowly, surely, because you are offering something to Krishna rather than just enjoying everything for your own self. You are offering it to Krishna. So, of course, you are getting the blessings of Krishna and his devotees. So, all these way you will get Agyat Swikriti. The donation you are giving, it will be used for Annadan Seva, Food for Life, for Go Seva, for preaching, for temple running, for deity worship. So this money will be used for all these things. You are helping us to maintain the temple. So you are getting Agyat Swikriti, blessings of the Lord, blessing of the devotees, blessing of Gau Mata. Those who are giving some way or the other donations, so they are getting a lot benefit. Somehow they are not that way active in spiritual life, slowly but surely they will. So anything can be offered to Krishna will fructify. Not now, but maybe in due course of time. Maybe a father will sow the seed. A father is a good person who is helping, supporting temple community. The coming generation will also get the benefit. So you are sowing the seed right now, and you and your coming generation will reap the benefit. So direct devotional service is topmost, but indirect serving the temple, devotees, community also give you the perfect stage. So like we eat prasadam, everything can be converted to Krishna consciousness. Everything can be directed toward Krishna. When they will come outwardly, they will only give support, money and go. But slowly we will invite them, have prasadam with us. Then they will get the knowledge of prasadam. What is prasadam? So prasadam is a diet which is free of karma. So that is a simple notation. What is prasadam? It's a diet which is free of karma, because that is first offered to the Lordship. First he honors, and after the remnant we take as prasadam. So this way we can cultivate new donors as the devotees. Let them at least come close to Krishna. Then rest devotees and Krishna will take care. That is how Srila Prabhupada made so many devotees by giving that gulab jamuns, So the bullets of ISKCON, they got, sure shot. So same way here we should always try to bring people with love, care and affection. They should feel like home here. Whatever they offer, accept it. Because we are serving Krishna, we are the servant of Krishna, and whosoever come in the house of Krishna, we should welcome nicely. So the food got converted to prasadam, the work get converted to seva, the way of talking get converted into prachar, preaching. So these all things only a devotee can understand, and only a person who comes in contact with devotee can understand. So Bhakti Yoga, this chapter is the epitome. It's just collecting everything and giving away, because first 6 chapters of Bhakti Srimad Bhagavad Gita is about Karma Yoga. The middle 6 chapter is about Bhakti Yoga. So on the 12th chapter, it's just churning all the nectar of Bhakti Yoga and giving us in chapter 12th. So here in all the shlokas we will find Krishna is telling how a devotee should be, how a devotee reacts. The chapter started with the question of Arjuna, how the personal and impersonal, how to proceed, who is better and all. But now Krishna is giving all gist of Bhakti Yoga in chapter 12. So I would like to share a small story where Lord Shiva is talking on the glories of chapter 12 to Parvati Mata. There is a story goes back in some yugas back, not in Kali Yuga of course. There was a temple, and Shiva is narrating the story that there is a temple of Mahalakshmi in Kolhapur. There the deity is very miraculous, this and that. And one day one prince approached there, and he wanted to ask few questions, and he was seeking somebody to ask from. He was going here and there and searching for somebody who can provide help to him. So that the prince lost his father, and the father's name was Brihadarathi, and the father was performing Ashwamedha Yagna. Because of some disease, he lost his life, and the son wanted to really complete the Ashwamedha Yagna, and somehow the horse also stolen by Indra. So he was very much disturbed, and he was guided by his ministers to reach this Kolhapur Mahalakshmi temple and seek help there. So he did Archan Pujan, and then the deities of Mahalakshmi directed him toward Siddha Samadhi. Siddha Samadhi was a person who was very good devotee of the Lord, and he has some of the siddhis. So he given his obeisances, all due respect to the Siddha Samadhi. Then he said, my father was doing the Ashwamedha Yagna, somehow he left his body, but I have kept his body in different oil so that it doesn't get spoiled. I wanted to complete the yagna, then only I will do the fire obligation samskara of my father's body. So this is what I am carrying in my heart. I wanted to complete that yagna. Please try to help me finding the horse that's been stolen by Indra. I don't know where it is. So the Siddha Samadhi went into Samadhi, and he just did like this. So all the demigods came there and was standing with folding hands in front of Siddha Samadhi. He got bewildered how so many demigods on just moving hands, they have surrounded him. How big this Siddha Samadhi is then? So he just asked Siddha Samadhi, where is the horse? So he said, okay, we will follow your command. And they went and got the horse there. So the prince got so happy, and he was wondered, and he was thinking, how could just in a minute he got my horse back? All the demigods are working on his command. Who is he? So he inquired further softly, paid his obeisances again and again, said thank you, and asked him, can you bring my father back to life? Because I just saw you have brought back the Ashwamedha Yagna in few minutes, and all these demigods are running here and there on your command with all due respect. So he said, okay, let's go there. So they reached there where the body were preserved in different essential oils. So Siddha Samadhi took handful of water, said some mantras or something, and just sprinkled on the head of the dead body. That dead body came back to life. It was a miraculous thing. Everybody was awestruck. What's happening? He has died so many years back, and he has brought back to life. So Siddha Samadhi became more popular, and the trust and faith of the prince got more stronger in him. So he asked very submissively that, may I ask you, what kind of siddhi, what kind of sadhana you have done that every demigod is running on your command, and just in few seconds you revived the dead body of my father and he is back to life? So I wanted to inquire which kind of sadhana bhakti you follow. So Siddha Samadhi smiled, and he answered, I haven't done anything big. I haven't achieved any siddhi by endeavoring. It came to me by its own. And he was asked, why so? What you have done that way? So Siddha Samadhi replied, I am reciting 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita daily. So this is the Mahatmya. The siddhis and everything comes to you, even the demigods comes to you, and they wants to serve you, because this is the nectar of Bhakti Yoga, 12th, the epitome. It's getting like when we are proceeding from chapter 7 till reaching 12th, it's getting more and more nectarian, more and more ripe, and more mature. So Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter recitation gives all the siddhis, even though devotees don't want siddhis, but these are the glories are mentioned. these glories are mentioned, and the samvad is going on between Shiva to Parvati, because he was glorifying all the chapters of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Today we are reading chapter 12, so I thought to share the glory so that our faith become more stronger and stronger, and we don't require any siddhi, but yes, we always want to get our endeavors fulfilled because we are following the path of bhakti. So as a devotee, if we are hearing shlokas of Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 12, of course Krishna will help, and by the help of Krishna we will be able to fulfill our desires which are related to sadhana bhakti. So this way we can understand, even in those days Srimad Bhagavad Gita were carrying so much powerful impact. What to talk about today's world? We have only got the refuge of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chanting of the holy name, and association of devotees, because all things which used to carry auspicious energies are just going away because of Kali Yuga. So we should always get abide by reading of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Every shloka, every chapter carries so much importance. That is why Srila Prabhupada has given this instruction to keep on reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam on daily basis. So we should really try to take benefit by reading one chapter at least per day, so that in 18 days we can keep on completing and again restarting. So coming back to the shloka here, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned like everyone can participate with their endeavors, with their money, with their whichever position and power they have. So we cannot say that only those who are chanting, those who are reading Bhagavad Gita can come up to the perfect stage. Definitely they will, but by the mercy of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada, and serving devotees and deities, those who are providing other help to temple, to devotees, they will also come to that stage. Slowly but surely. Only we should know the art of converting karma into nishkam karma. You have to learn the art. That is all about. How? When you are cooking food for your family, that is a karmic thing. But when you are cooking prasadam for your family, that is Krishna conscious and akarma thing. So devotees knows this tech. Devotees are very smart. They are doing the same thing, but they are not gathering the karmas, because they offer everything to Krishna and then accept the remnant. Everything goes around. What we have to do? We have to understand practically, like when we are working in our offices, those who are karmis or even the devotees, when they are going out to work, when they are working in the offices, their mind is still at their home, thinking about wife, children, family. Same way, we may be anywhere, our mind should always be with Krishna. So these small examples makes things easy for us. Like an example, when a mother gives birth to a child, mother is somewhere working in the kitchen or drying clothes on the roof here and there, but her mind is always there with the son. Same way, we should inculcate this habit of remembering Krishna now and then. There is no point where we can forget Krishna. Only we have to connect everything to Krishna. I am cooking for my family and my family is taking only prasadam. So your work get converted into sadhana bhakti, because doing anything for Krishna is a sadhana bhakti. When we are working in the offices, we are thinking of our family. Same way, wherever we are, we should always think of Krishna. Very practical thing. So forefront for devotees, forefront is Krishna, background is also Krishna. But for when we join newly this devotional path, or for the outsider, forefront maybe their companies, their work, but they should try to always keep back front, in the sense, in their mindset, in their heart, always carry Krishna. And slowly what we have to do exclusively, we have to devote some time, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, early morning, giving that nurturing by chanting our rounds, by reading peacefully. So we have to give exclusive time. That is why the morning program is very important for all of us. That is exclusive time for Krishna. Then in the rest of the day, we can be at any place, but Krishna can be with us at the background, back front. Back front in the sense, I am doing my work, but I know I am offering it to Krishna mentally. Like in earlier ages, basically more, still these things prevail in southern India. Whenever you are starting something, or even you are starting a journey, you light up a lamp in the house, seek the blessing of the Lord, safe journey, and then you leave the house. So for everything, we should try to seek help of Krishna. Include Krishna in your day-to-day life. Thank you, Krishna. Give your blessing for this thing, for this success, or my better this. So Krishna is not just, you should remember when you are in temple, wherever you are, you can remember Krishna and seek his guidance. That is bhakti is all about. Connect with Krishna deeply, ask, talk, inquire, and he will do so directly or indirectly through his devotees. So many times devotees share their realization. Then I was sitting in the lecture and I was thinking something, some or the other way. The narrator, the speaker, the person who was giving the lecture started talking on the same topic. So that is how Krishna makes things happen. Krishna makes all these arrangements. Only we should keep the desire that I want the answer of this thing. So anybody you see, try to make him Krishna conscious by inviting them to temple, by giving them some small service, anything, just for Krishna. He will become a good devotee in due course of times, because he is collecting more and more. He is collecting more and more mercy of the Vaishnavas. He is collecting more and more mercy of Dham. So surely he will become better. But endeavor should come first. If person is not willing to visit devotee, is not willing to visit the temple, nothing can be changed. So these are the process. I mean, you are far, you are doing some support, giving money, it's very good, but they should also start visiting. This is a process. So everything is nicely explained. Only we have to work on it lovingly. So we should not have a mindset that this person can never become a devotee. Anybody can be a devotee. That is what Srila Prabhupada has proved. He has made all hippies to happies. So there is nothing no in Krishna consciousness. Everything is yes by the mercy of Krishna. Anybody can be a devotee. It's only they're searching their way. We have got our way willingly. If you are forcing somebody, nobody will come. It takes due course of time for the mind to set, to seek the right direction. That is why books are there, devotees are there to give you answer of the queries. We have all these queries all of our life. Even after listening to Bhagavad Gita, even after speaking on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we keep on getting the questions and queries, because we are living in the material world where we are surrounded by Maya. Even after knowing the truth, we will again doubt. We know the truth, but we doubt. Why? Because we are working hard. Maya Devi is also working hard. That is her job. She will get more and more different kind of things to influence a devotee. That is a tug of war, always keep going on. between devotee and Maya Devi. So we have to take the shelter of Yog Maya by surrendering to Krishna, by serving devotees. So Yog Maya will take care of us. But the tug of war will be continued because we are in Kali Yuga. But this is the most sublime process from where we can really get the benefit of human birth. Otherwise, everybody is eating, enjoying life, and they think they are enjoying and living without achieving anything. So at least devotees realize what they have taken birth for. So here, so if you cannot follow regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then start doing work for Krishna, and with due course of time you will come on to the perfect stage. So we should always carry this with us. So we should not be judgmental toward any devotee or a non-devotee. We should always try to connect them with the process. Half of the job is done, and rest Krishna will take care. More than enough done. Now Krishna, you take care. I have made this person connected with you somehow or the other. Now you take care. So Krishna is very happy because we are bringing all his lost kids here and there back to him somehow or the other. That is the process, and we are following and we are trying others to follow. So in ISKCON we are not fanatic, we are practical. How to change the karmas, in the sense how to make karma to a karma. Everything which gets connected with Krishna gives no karma, but you should carry that mindset. We should not have that cheating propensity, fooling only devotees and enjoy everything. No, it's internal thing. You should always think, I am serving Krishna, I am trying to serve Krishna, and I will become better day by day. Seek help. He is a Chaitya Guru. He is listening to all of us. Then we have our Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, Padpadaksha Guru. All these gurus are here to guide us. But at least we should put this question, we should raise our hand for help. If a person is drowning, to save his life, he should raise his hands. That is why in the morning we are saying Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. At least we realize we are drowning. We are seeking help. Raising hands means surrender. Surrender, and I need help. That is why we raise our hands in front of the Lordship and we ask their mercy. So, do whatever you are doing, just connect with Krishna. This is for non-devotees, and slowly Krishna will take care. But for the devotees, we have to follow the path of sadhana bhakti. Always abide by whatever rules and regulations we are following, chanting our rounds, reading Srimad Bhagavad Gita, morning program, serving the Lord, serving the devotees. That is very much required for us on the forefront and on the back front. For us, all same. But somehow, if because of this problem, that problem, if some devotees goes on the mode where forefront is Krishna but back front is little different, okay, Krishna will take care. But always seek help and try to connect more and more people, donors as devotees, because this is the ultimate purpose of preaching. This is the ultimate purpose what Srila Prabhupada has given us, to make everybody devotee. Wherever we see, we try to give them Krishna, the jewel of Braj. This is the biggest gift you can give to anybody. So I stop here. Any questions or comment?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So what is the source of this Mahatmya which you said of Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati?
It's been mentioned so many places where the Mahatmya of all the Bhagavad Gita chapters are given. It's there in Brihad Bhagavatam also and Shiv Puran also, where the samvad is going on.
So,
We have a book also. ISKCON do have a book on Bhagavad Gita Mahatmya.
For complete surrender to Lordship, we can refer to Gajendra and Draupadi.
Yes. Yes. We are trying that daily morning. Like Draupadi raised hand, she surrendered. We are also trying. We are doing a very good thing. Actually, we are trying. When you try, if somehow I take it in a different manner also, if somebody even not trying, he is just showing off, just show off, then also Krishna is so merciful. Srila Prabhupada is so merciful. Even the person is doing a sort of a drama sort of, then also Krishna slowly will accept. At least he is doing drama to be a devotee. Let's make him a devotee. It may take years, it may take lifetime, but Krishna is so merciful. That is the beauty of the Krishna and his Leelas. He is the most merciful Lord. Hare Krishna.